All right. Well, the Johnny Depp thing, Amber Heard trial is over. That was weird. It feels like that's kind of been the only thing that's been going on for like a year now. But it was like 6.5, 7 weeks, apparently. That's all that we've been through. But it's finally over. I really hope they don't do another one of these trials. I've not done a video on this primarily because it seems like a strange thing to talk about. It seems that I don't know how much involved the story is in terms of the entertainment industry. I think maybe the most interesting angle is what it does for the Me Too side of the culture war in terms of how is someone allowed to be who do you believe, who do you listen to what extent do you question, to what extent do you all that stuff. So, but in terms of this, really, it only extends as far as what happens to Johnny Depp going forward. So, first of all, getting into what happened, apparently they found both of them for defamation. The reading here from CNN says the jury has found both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp liable for defamation in the lawsuits against each other. Depp sued Heard, his ex wife, for defamation over a 2018 op ed she wrote for the Washington Post, in which she described him as a public figure representing domestic abuse. Though Depp was not named in the article, he claims that it cost him lucrative acting roles. She then countersued Depp for defamation over statements that Depp's attorney made about her claims of abuse. Weighing the claims, a jury found that both of the exes defamed each other. The jury awarded Depp $10 million in compensation damages and $5 million in punitive damages. The jury awarded her $2 million in compensation damages and no money for punitive damages. Depp sought $50 million in damages. Heard sought $100 million. Punitive damages in the state of Virginia are capped at $350,000, so the judges reduced the punitive damages award to that amount. Heard kept her eyes down. This is from CNN, by the way. Heard kept her eyes down as the verdict was read. Depp was not present in court, but released a statement that said, "The jury has given me my life back. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to those who have remained steadfast in their support of me." He said, "I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that." Heard said in a statement that she is heartbroken over the verdict. "The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I am heartbroken that the amount of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband." Depp and Heard met in 2009 on the set of the film The Rum Diary and were married from 2015 to 2016 before divorcing. In her testimony, Heard said that Depp was verbally and physically abusive during their relationship. She also accused Depp of sexual violence, which he also pretty much accused her of doing. Actually, here we'll go on a little bit. It talks a little bit about attorneys, but for both Heard and Depp, presented during the trial photographs and audio and video recordings to make their case. One expert, Lauren Anderson, a clinical psychologist who worked with Depp and Heard in 2015 as their marriage counselor, said in testimony played on April 14th that the pair's relationship was best characterized as mutually abusive. During the trial, Depp's team presented witnesses that included model Kate Moss, with whom he had a relationship previously, and Walter Hamada, the head of DC Films. Actress Ellen Barkin and a number of former Depp associates testified on Heard's behalf. Heard had notably fewer vocal supporters than Depp in the entertainment business and in and around the courthouse. That's one thing. Everyone loved Johnny Depp. You go online, you go in any comment section, everyone absolutely loves Johnny Depp. And really, the people that seem to support Amber Heard the most are people who write articles and put out the headlines. It seems like they're the ones that really enjoyed it. And I think that's kind of a thing that really stirs the pot in getting so much interest on this story. And the fact that it was broadcast, I think, got so many people on Depp's side. One, for the same reason I think people like podcasts. People that aren't good at conversation don't do a very good job at podcasts because you can tell that they're full of shit pretty much immediately. And when you can just, there's something about hearing someone talk for hours and hours that if you are actually managed to be entertained by who is speaking, then they actually have something to say. That doesn't necessarily make them right, but it does definitely say that they have something worth listening to. And I think out of the two of them, Johnny Depp was the one telling the better story. He seemed like the more honest one. And, obviously he's an actor, but sometimes it seemed like he was the most honest one because what Amber Heard was saying just didn't like the thing about the makeup whenever she's saying, oh, I had to, and they had the makeup and they were like, this, I used this constantly, this makeup, this brand, this version I carried around with me all the time. And she then the company literally came out and said, we started making that makeup after you broke up with your husband, so I don't think that is really what you were using, like stuff like just there's so much. And then the fact that she said, I punched Johnny in the because I couldn't help but think about Kate Moss, who everyone knows that Johnny pushed down the stairs. So I just couldn't get that out of my mind. And then Kate Moss comes in and says, that never happened. In fact, I was crying for years after John. It's just, I think the main part of this that is connecting to the entertainment industry is Johnny Depp should more than likely, I would say, have a career. He should be given chances in major roles. It is clear that a lot of people want to see him. And it's also clear that him being blacklisted from Hollywood is an example of Hollywood wanting to do their own thing, follow their own narrative, have their own ideology. And it just does not fit with what everyone else in the real world is showing. And to have this whole trial come out publicly, like an opportunity to sway people's opinions about things, it just seems like, while no, that I think the trial has made it so that everyone has to acknowledge that in stories like these, you have two sides. You can only go so much and go so far. And after years and years and years of kind of just blacklisting so many people, canceling so many people because of just like minor statements, this just maybe the best way to say it, this puts innocent until proven guilty at the forefront of everyone's mind. And with someone as powerful as Johnny Depp, that goes a long way. So I wonder if culturally this is going to change anything. I hope Johnny Depp gets more roles. I really think Johnny Depp should get more roles. What were some other things like here? The way someone like the Hollywood Reporter is describing it, you can see that there's so much that's going to kind of go in Amber Heard's direction for support when it comes to the big dogs, the big media dogs coming out for her side, saying that she was the one that was wronged. Amber Heard ordered to pay $15 million in abuse claims defamation trial. Notice what they put as the subject line. Again, this is Hollywood Reporter. The verdict suggests that the jury believed arguments from Depp that Heard faked her injuries in the rare celebrity defamation case to go to trial. Virginia, just that wording right there. The verdict suggests that the jury believed arguments. Like, you're putting so many vague spins on that. You know that if this had gone in Amber's direction and not Johnny's, this would say the verdict shows that, it would be the definite thing. But no, it's got to kind of be swayed a little bit to make it seem like, who knows? Life is such a mystery, isn't it? Maybe we don't ever really know what goes on. Is life real? A Virginia jury awarded Johnny Depp $15 million in his defamation suit against Amber Heard on Wednesday, ruling in his favor on all three claims that he was defamed when Heard wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post in which she called herself a domestic abuse survivor. He also mostly vindicated of allegations that he defamed Heard by calling her accusations a hoax. Oh, what is wrong with me? A hoax. Heard was handed a near complete loss in the case revolving around dueling defamation claims from Heard and Depp, prevailing on only one of her claims in a widely broadcast trial that came to symbolize the shortcomings of the Me Too movement. That's probably even the best way to say it. There's a lot of, even Johnny Depp's team said there's so much good that comes from the Me Too movement, but the worst side of it is that the tendency is to just ram roughshod over anyone that is put in the crosshairs. That is absolutely ridiculous and defeats coming out and saying, well, what Amber Heard is malicious and she did it for attention and she would continually try to do something like this. Like, seeing that as what is actually going on is detrimental to anyone that is actually speaking up from any kind of abuse. Heard, who divorced Depp in 2016 after obtaining a domestic violence restraining order, has been dragged through two trials. Like, if it's true, then yes, you use that. If it comes out, oh, Amber was correct, then use that terminology. If Johnny Depp is seen as the one, oh, he was actually telling the truth, she was purposefully trying to drag his career through the mud, then why is she the one that's being dragged through two trials across two continents to sustain allegations that Depp abused her? A jury of 6 men and 3 women took nearly 13 hours over 3 days of deliberations to reach the verdict, absolving Depp of claims that he smeared Heard by claiming that she lied about being abused. Jurors concluded that Heard acted with the level of malice or recklessness necessary to meet the high standard for public figures to allege defamation. And it was interesting that they waited so long on Heard's side to bring up the First Amendment issue because, yeah, especially in this country, it takes a lot for you to say you spoke up, you did something, you said something that we're actually going to require you to pay another person for. Like essentially saying that they're not going to be, allowed to say what they want, like screaming fire in a crowded theater. And for them to have actually accomplished this does show. And if you had watched any of the clips, you would see that there is so many earmarkers that Amber Heard was so full of shit and spreading it all over the bed that, it makes sense, but it took a lot to get past the First Amendment right of, hey, you can say what you want. It's like, okay, but if it's so obvious that you're kind of being a dick, then no, you can't. While Heard lost on 2 of her 3 claims, she won on one claim that a statement from Depp's lawyer was defamatory. In the statement, he said that Heard set up an ambush, a hoax, referencing a visit from law enforcement to the couple's house allegedly initiated by Heard. She was awarded $2 million in compensatory damages. But none in punitive damages. The disappointment I feel today from Amber, we read this before, is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. This is going to become a whole patriarchy thing again. But then, yeah, it goes on to say Depp, in a long statement, celebrated the verdict, said that he got his life back. So, again, I think in the end, and I was going through the Pirates of the Caribbean movies recently because I was a kid whenever that came out. And yeah, it would be good to see Johnny Depp get back working with Tim Burton, going back to work with Disney, just having roles again. He's a very interesting actor. I would say, even if you don't like Johnny Depp, the way that he puts forward an approach to character is unlike anything you really see from any other performer. It's really insane the way that he goes about crafting a character. Let's see. I think there was actually more to his statement. So yeah, the whole statement, it looks like, from Depp. This is via his spokesperson. He said, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, Johnny Depp says, the jury has now given me back my life. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, and that's another thing to keep in mind, the amount of money that he put up to actually get this as far as it did. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I may be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing that I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped other men or women who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and in the media. I mean, that's really good to say. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, jurors, court staff, and sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come. A new chapter has finally begun. Veritas numquam perit. Truth never perishes. I definitely like that this has forced a conversation in terms of innocent until proven guilty. For years, there have been so many people that have just been so confident in we don't need evidence. We don't need, if we hear something that someone says, particularly, look, and that's the thing, it gets so into sex and gender that it's so unfair. If anyone alleges accusations against anyone, it should be given a huge amount of time to, first of all, the person being accused innocent until proven guilty, but also a conversation, I think, is the most important thing. And while I know that it has been very annoying, it has been very annoying, I think a conversation happening on huge things like this is so much better than just hearing one person make an accusation. The person who was accused against just evaporates into thin air. Then again, we have someone out there like Kevin Spacey, who I think it's very obvious in that situation was doing some crappy behavior. I'm happy that this has landed in Johnny Depp's favor. It is obvious that it has been so long, like a huge battle to even get it to the point that it was in that courtroom with all of us being able to see it. We will see what happens next, but check out your favorite Johnny Depp movie now and have a mega pint, as Amber Heard's lawyers like to put it. The amount of memes that came out of that thing were absolutely hilarious. I'm thinking of bringing back the weekly movie update. To Hobbit, see you in the chat. I know I've not been live streaming, but let's say 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll come back. We'll keep doing more content on Fridays, get the show going back a little bit. We're also going to have a review of Top Gun later on the channel later. But thank you, everyone that watches, likes, comments, shares. And if you have not already, please subscribe for future updates on reviews and movie news. Goodness gracious. All right. See you guys later.